Today I want to share with you 5 things I would have done differently if I could start my weight loss journey all over again. Now, if you don't know me or my story, you might not know that I was once 20 pounds heavier myself, and it took me a lot of years to figure it out. I started gaining the weight once I hit puberty, and after growing up as a skinny child, I didn't really understand what was happening to my body. And so I wanted to share the trials and tribulations that I went through and how I would have done things differently if I could go back in time to lose that weight faster so that it wouldn't have taken me 10 years to do so. The first one is trying to work off the food that I was eating. So I was constantly in this state of trying to exercise so that I could burn off the calories that I was consuming, but I wasn't paying attention to the quality of foods that I was eating. I didn't realize that I was a sugar addict because I was actually addicted to carbs. So I was eating things like cereal for breakfast, I was eating Nutella with toast, I was eating pasta, I was eating sandwiches, I was eating all of these things where my diet essentially consisted of gluten and dairy for the most part, with some sides of protein and vegetables and fruits. I would devour yogurt like it was nobody's business. And I thought that's okay because I work out all the time. I'm just gonna burn all this stuff off. Now, the reality is that food is information, and exercise is what you're utilizing to burn energy. But food is not just energy. Food is going to be telling your organ systems what to do. It's going to spike your blood sugar. It's going to tax your liver. It's going to mess with your brain and your gut and the connection between the two. So there's so much more information with food than just the amount of energy that you're taking in when you eat it. So exercise and food are just not the same currency, and we have to stop treating them like one can outdo the other. The second thing I would have done differently is to stop attempting to become a vegan. I was under the impression after watching all these food documentaries that vegan was the way to go. Meat was the enemy. But really, sugar was the enemy the whole time. Gluten was the enemy. Dairy was the enemy. All of these inflammatory foods that I was eating were actually what needed to go. And instead, I tried cutting out meat, which was the thing that was keeping my blood sugar balanced in the first place. So if I could go back in time, I would prioritize meat, and I would prioritize quality meat. So making sure that you're getting enough protein is going to stabilize your blood sugar and allow your body to come to status quo. And that way, I wouldn't have craved so much Nutella and cereal and pasta and sandwiches because my blood sugar would be stable. So I felt like a victim. I felt like I was not in the driver's seat, and I was just falling victim to these cravings that I had to indulge. And I thought, it's okay because I'm working it off. And actually, when I became a vegan, I tipped the scale higher than ever before, and I was an emotional wreck. So definitely not a good idea to try and fix your weight issues by becoming a vegan. The third thing is not understanding gut health. So something as simple as just implementing a probiotic and starting to eat foods that are fermented and naturally rich in probiotics can start to heal your gut lining so that your body doesn't respond so intensely to foods. Now, of course, it's important to clean up your diet and take the inflammatory things out, but if you're not re-inoculating your gut with healthy bacteria on a regular basis, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Now, once your gut lining is healed and you have a good amount of healthy bacteria in there, you'll start to feel better mentally, emotionally, and physically, which will help propel you into a better place so that you can start to see results. Number 4 is prioritize sleep. I know when we're young, we think we can get away with 5-6 hours of sleep because we want to go out partying and we still have to work in the morning, or we're pulling all-nighters studying, but it is doing you a huge disservice. And what I wasn't realizing is that my sleep was actually affecting my gut as well. So I was sleeping 5-6 hours a night because I had to be at work super early in the morning. And so the way that I compromised was I just compromised my sleep. And I would stay up at night so that I could have time to enjoy my life. And then I would go to sleep, not leaving myself enough time to wake up and have a proper morning routine, which meant that I was constipated. It meant that my bowels weren't moving properly, because of my rushing girl lifestyle, but also because when you don't get enough sleep, it doesn't give your body enough time to process everything and move the foods through the digestive process. So now I make sure to prioritize 8, 9, even 10 hours of sleep sometimes to make sure that I'm feeling my best, to make sure that my body is doing the recovery work that it needs to be doing at night so that I can feel awesome during the day, get my workouts in, eat healthy foods, and everything just flows better when you are well rested. And then the final thing that I would have done differently if I had known was to address my habits around stress. So the way that I was raised was in an environment where there was lots of stress and there was an unhealthy response to that stress, and that is what I continued on in my life. So instead of learning how to cope with my stress, learning how to face adversity, learning how to let my system stay in a calm, cool, and collected place while I face adversity through tools like meditation and breathing exercises. What I didn't realize was that stress raises your cortisol levels, and when your cortisol levels are elevated, you absolutely cannot metabolize fat. And this is why stress weight ends up being around the midsection, because when you're stressed out, your body can't metabolize fat and you're gonna hold on to extra weight because you don't know how to deal with your stress. Now, I don't think we're ever gonna be in a phase of our life where there is zero stress and everything is just perfect. We're always gonna be faced with adversity, but it's how we respond to that stress that really makes the difference. So now that I've learned all of those hard lessons, I have finally found myself in a place where I don't hold on to weight and I can keep weight off. I even went through pregnancy and postpartum recovery without ever struggling to lose weight because I knew the fundamentals and I knew how to take care of my body. If you don't know, my approach focuses on a 4-pillar paradigm, which is fitness, nutrition, mindset, and sleep. And between all 4 of those pillars, we focus on the details within each of those and how we can level up each of those areas for your personal lifestyle and schedule. If you want to learn more about the 4-pillar approach and how I've been helping moms lose 20 pounds and keep it off for good, then hit the link in my description and I'd be happy to talk to you about how I can help you do the same.